Marcus Webb shuffled through the security checkpoint at Terminus Station like he'd done 1,000 times before. The massive orbital hub serviced over 40 species, and the security protocols were notoriously thorough. He barely paid attention as the Valkorian guard waved him toward the biometric scanner. Just another tedious step between him and his connecting shuttle to the mining colonies. The scanner hummed as Marcus placed his arm into the crystalline aperture. Standard procedure. It would read his genetic markers, verify his identity, check for contraband pathogens, and clear him in about 15 seconds. Except it didn't. The device emitted a sound Marcus had never heard before, a ascending whine that made every species in the terminal freeze. The crystal turned from its usual blue to a deep, pulsing crimson. Then the scanner's holographic display erupted with symbols Marcus couldn't read, cycling through what looked like dozens of alien languages, before settling on galactic common. Alert, biological anomaly. Detected subject has survived direct contact with Apex. Deity probability, 99.97% recommended. Action, quarantine and study. The terminal went silent. Every being within sight turned to stare at the unremarkable human standing at Checkpoint 7. The Valkorian guard's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. This is impossible. The scanner must be malfunctioning. I'm sorry, what? Marcus pulled his arm back, but 3 more security officers had already materialized around him, weapons drawn but not aimed, yet. A tall, mantis-like 3-scene pushed through the crowd, its compound eyes reflecting the scanner's crimson glow. It wore the insignia of a senior xenobiologist. Human, it chittered, its translator rendering the words with barely contained excitement. When did you encounter a deity-class entity? Marcus's mind raced. I've never... What's a deity-class entity? An apex deity, the 3-scene corrected, is a classification for beings of such immense power that they exist partially outside normal spacetime. The Vorkoth, the singers at the edge, the infinite devourers, it paused. Contact with such beings is invariably fatal. Not sometimes, always. Even shielded observation from light years away has driven entire research teams to catatonia. I really think your machine is broken, Marcus said, though a cold feeling was creeping up his spine. I'm a cargo hauler. I've never been anywhere exotic. Earth, Mars, the Titan refinery, some asteroid mining. Earth, interrupted a new voice. An elderly Archon, scales dulled with age, stepped forward. Its 3 eyes studied Marcus with an intensity that made him deeply uncomfortable. Human, did you ever visit the ocean? Specifically the deepest parts? Marcus frowned. I mean, yeah. I grew up in Monterey. My dad took me diving in the Mariana Trench when I was 12. Tourist thing, why? The Archon's breathing tubes fluttered. The 3-scene mentioned the infinite devourers. We have another name for them. The old ones who dream beneath. They slumber in the deepest places of worlds with sufficient gravity and liquid water. Your Earth has one. That's ridiculous, Marcus said, but his voice wavered. He remembered that dive. Remembered the way his father had gone quiet when the submarine's lights had flickered. Remembered the feeling of being watched by something incomprehensibly vast. Remembered his father saying, "Just keep looking at me, Marcus. Don't look out the window." He'd looked anyway. For just a moment he'd seen something in the darkness beyond the submarine's lights. Not a shape exactly. More like the absence of space itself, coiled and dreaming. And then his father had grabbed his face, forced him to look away, and they'd surfaced in silence. His father had died 3 months later. Brain aneurysm, the doctor said. Completely random. My father, Marcus whispered. He saw it too. He died. Yes, the Archon said gently. That is the expected outcome. Even indirect observation through technological barriers is enough to unravel most neural structures. Your father absorbed the brunt of the entity's attention to shield you. Then why am I alive? The 3-scene's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. That, human, is what makes this extraordinary. Your species has a saying, yes? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. For most species, this is metaphorical. But human neurology is unusual, redundant, adaptive. You possess something called neuroplasticity at levels we've never encountered. The Archon nodded slowly. When your father died, his mind was shattered by exposure. But you were young. 12, you said? Your neural pathways were still forming. Instead of breaking, they adapted, rewired, incorporated the impossible into your cognitive framework. You're saying I have a piece of that thing in my head? Marcus felt his hands shaking. No, the three scenes said. We're saying your mind survived touching infinity and learned to speak its language. You carry an imprint, human. A scar across your consciousness that marks you as something unique in the galaxy. A being who has survived contact with an apex deity and remained sane. Marcus looked at the crowd of aliens, all watching him with expressions ranging from fear to reverence to scientific fascination. He thought about all the nights he'd woken in a cold sweat, unable to remember his dreams but certain they contained something too large for human comprehension. All the times he'd stared at the stars and felt a strange kinship with the vast emptiness between them. What happens now? He asked quietly. The Valkorian guard had lowered its weapon. Now, human Marcus Webb, you have a choice. You can continue to your mining colony and live an ordinary life, or? The Archon's eyes gleamed. Or you can help us understand. The apex deities are stirring across the galaxy. We don't know why. But if there's even a chance that your unique neurology, your survival, can teach us how to perceive them without dying. It trailed off meaningfully. Marcus looked down at his arm, still tingling from the scanner. Somewhere in the deepest ocean of his homeworld, something vast and ancient continued its eternal dreaming, and somehow, impossibly, a part of him remembered its song. He'd spent 15 years running cargo, trying to forget that dive. Trying to be normal. Maybe it was time to stop running. Tell me more, Marcus said. The scanner's crimson glow pulsed once like a heartbeat and then returned to blue.